Good afternoon. I said in my previous video that we would be looking at the consumer rights according to the Consumer Protection Act. There are only 9 of them that you will need to know for the exam. So you need to be able to list all of them, but also to be able to identify a transaction and say, okay, that's the right to privacy. So the first one we're going to look at is the right to equality in the consumer marketplace. So what does this really mean? Have a look at this picture. You can see that there's a man who's selling organs on the black market, all right? And there's also a picture of a male and a woman on a balancing scale that should be equal. So businesses should not limit access to goods and services. It needs to be available to all people. The quality of goods may not vary when supplied to different consumers. So if you're selling chocolate cakes, you must use the same ingredients in all those chocolate cakes that you sell to everyone. It doesn't matter if they're 15 years or 55 years old. Businesses may not charge different prices for the same goods and services. And I think this happens more often than not. If you go to really fancy hotels, you'll see that they'll charge 30 Rand for a Coke. But if you go to another hotel that maybe is only a 2-star, they may only charge you 15 Rand for the same amount of Coke. There must be no discrimination should occur when businesses market their products and services in different areas and places. The reason I put that picture of those organs is that if someone needs a heart transplant or a liver transplant, those kind of products should be made available to everyone in the marketplace. The second right we're going to look at is the right to privacy and confidentiality. Consumers have the right to stop any unwanted direct marketing. Okay, so what that means is if you get a phone call and someone's trying to sell you something, you have the right to stop that call and to say, please remove my name from your database, right? No one is allowed to do any telemarketing before 8 in the morning and after 8 in the evening during the weekdays. And on a weekend, they're only allowed to do telemarketing between 9 and 1. So if someone's phoning you at 11 o'clock at night, it is illegal. And you can then throw the Consumer Protection Act at them. In terms of the right to privacy and confidentiality, you can object to any unwanted promotional emails and telesales. So you're welcome to always unsubscribe from emails. So there needs to be an option for you to opt out, to say, I don't want to get this anymore. Consumers have the right to stop or lodge complaints about sharing of their personal details. You can also put on your post box a no junk mail, please, so that your privacy is respected. The next slide I'm going to show you is about the telemarketing, those cold calls that we get. So remember, you're not allowed to be phoned before 8 in the morning or after 8 during the weekdays, and on a Sunday and public holidays and weekends, it's only between 9 and 1. The third right we're going to look at is the right to choose. So consumers have the right to choose suppliers and or goods. They have the right to shop around for the best prices. They have the right to reject goods that are unsafe or defective for a full refund. They can cancel or renew any fixed term agreements. However, you may have to pay a small penalty fee. And they have the right to request written quotations and cost estimates. So it gives the consumer a fair understanding of what they are getting into. Let's move on to the next right. This is the right to disclosure of information. So in other words, it's about being given information, all right? Disclosure means to be given. Contracts and agreements should be in plain language and easy to understand. Businesses should display the prices which are fully inclusive of all costs involved. There's a story of a car that was labeled 199 Rand instead of 199,000 Rand, and the gentleman paid 199 Rand. Consumers may request the unit and bulk price of the same product. So in other words, if I only buy one, what will it cost me? But if I buy 20, am I going to get a bulk discount? If two prices for the same product are displayed, customers should pay the lower price. Businesses should label their products and trade descriptions correctly. So you need to have all this information at your fingertips when you are shopping around. And remember, you can choose where you want to buy your items. The next right is the right to fair and responsible marketing. Businesses are not allowed to mislead consumers on pricing or the benefits of goods. So, for example, if there's a cream and it says your wrinkles will disappear in 5 seconds, that's not true. That won't happen. Okay. So, if you see that on a label, you can claim, hey, I know my rights, therefore you cannot sell this to me like that. You need to give it to me at a cheaper price. Consumers may cancel purchases made through direct marketing within the 5 working day periods known as the cooling period. So if you feel you were forced into buying something and it was an involuntary purchase, you have that 5 working days cooling off period to return it. All information related to the country of origin, the expiry dates, the ingredients of the products should be disclosed. So that's in terms of the right to fair and responsible marketing. Let's move on to right number 6. Right, the right to fair and honest dealings. So what does this mean? Suppliers may not use physical force or harass customers to buy something. Suppliers may not give misleading or false information. Businesses may not promote any pyramid schemes and or chain letter schemes. Businesses may not overbook or oversell goods or services and then not honor the agreement. So airlines have come under a lot of scrutiny here. It is common practice that airlines overbook their flights because not all the passengers arrive. So if it was overbooked and you arrive in at the checkout and they say, sorry, we are fully booked, they have to put you up in a hotel or pay for you to wait for the next flight. And then normally they upgrade you as well. All right. So if it is overbooked, they need to pay you some kind of compensation for that. The next right we're going to look at is the right to fair, just, and reasonable terms and conditions. So what does this really mean? Businesses should provide consumers with written notice of clauses that may limit your rights. So in other words, if something is going to limit one of your rights in terms of fair and honest dealings, it needs to be highlighted to you. Businesses may not market or sell goods at unfair prices. This right is not often asked. Right, the right to fair value, good quality, and safety. So the key word here is really that issue of things being safe. Consumers may demand quality service or goods. So if you bought something and you feel the quality is inferior, you may go back and say it needs to be of a better quality. They may receive an implied or written warranty. You may cancel or renew fixed term agreements. You need to be informed about any hazardous or dangerous items within a product. You may reject goods that are not the same as a sample that was marketed, and you may return faulty items if a fault occurs within 6 months after purchasing the item. Right, so it's all about having that good value, good quality, and that the items must be safe. Right, the right to hold suppliers accountable. I must say they like asking this one. Consumers have a right to be protected in lay-by agreements. So a lay-by agreement is when you want to buy something, but you can't pay it all up front. So the retailer or the business owner keeps it for you and you pay it off installments. And once it's all paid off, you then get your item. Businesses should honor any credit vouchers and prepaid services. In the past, before this act came out, a lot of vouchers kind of said if you don't use them within 3 months, you lose it. Sorry for you. But now I think the law says that those vouchers have to be valid for at least 3 years, which is quite a long time. So those are the 9 rights that you will need to know. I must admit that the right to privacy and confidentiality is one that is often asked. The right to fair and responsible marketing is another commonly asked one. They also like to ask about the right to choose and the right to fair and honest dealings. Hope that has given you a good overview. If you go onto the internet and research consumer rights under the South African law, you'll see that there's lots to read about it. And if you decide to study law, this is a good area to practice in. Have a good day, everyone.